Hi there, SpaceX is the only private firm that builds its own rockets and has the authority to launch people into space. It works closely with NASA's space agency to help deliver two-thirds of all space satellite launches and other cargo. Other customers like European Space Agency also look to her for help because each launch at SpaceX only costs $62 million, which is much cheaper than competitors. Wholesale Elon Musk's company uses the Falcon 9 rocket, which has been launched 114 times since June 2010, including 112 successfully. In addition to modest cargo SpaceX, it will carry genuine astronauts to the International Space Station. To do so, it will employ the Dragon spacecraft, the first passengers of which will arrive in May 2022, were astronauts Douglas Hurley and Bob Behnken. In 2024, the company intends to send another person to Mars aboard the Starship spacecraft under development, which will also be suitable for suborbital flights from one point on Earth to another in the shortest possible time. As you can see, this P6 has a lot of work ahead of it, which begs the question: how does he construct rockets that quickly? The company's primary secrets, as well as the utilization of breakthrough technology in manufacturing. The Falcon 9 launcher is made up of two stages, the first of which accelerates the second, which is expected to share at a height of 70 kilometers. To make a gentle landing on the Earth, they create an on-a-water platform, after which it is brought to the SpaceX factory to detect the flaws, swiftly repair them, and prepare them for reuse in the shortest lines, which normally takes 1-2 months. According to the CEO of SpaceX, the reusable first stage will cut the cost of the Falcon 9 rocket from $61 million to $42 million for future flights. The business simply needs to construct the rocket's second stage and connect it to a repaired booster. Elon Musk once compared the reusable Falcon 9 to a modern plane, implying that if the Boeing 747 and disposable planes had to be destroyed after each flight, passenger tickets would be prohibitively expensive, whereas the planes only need to be refueled and can be used thousands of times, making flying more affordable for people. Perhaps one day the Falcon 9 and similar rockets will be fully reusable, lowering the cost of sending cargo into space even further. The Starship spacecraft is also reusable. To launch it into orbit, a super heavy rocket will be used, which will return to Earth and be repaired before being used again. Old discovered that SpaceX intended to capture the rocket using a launch tower that would cover the structure on all sides, reducing the possibility of an accident. Elon Musk's team is also speeding up missile construction by employing the cheapest but also dependable components. Other space tech manufacturers primarily use lightweight carbon fiber that costs $135 per kilo, so although SpaceX engineers prefer to buy and steel at $3 per kilo because the low cost of materials allows them to experiment with spacecraft design and try to simplify and speed up the assembly of their components in any way possible. For example, in the first versions of the Falcon 9 rocket, the first stage had 9 sedan engines arranged in 3 rows of 3, but the company later proposed a new design in which 8 engines were arranged in a circle around a large central spoon, reducing the length and weight of the Falcon 9 rocket while simplifying and speeding up assembly and thus lowering the cost of launches, which attracted new customers. The company also employs cutting-edge technologies in the construction of the Bayon Cloud spacecraft. This unit is outfitted with an anti-fall system comprised of 8 Super Draco motors, which are required for both space maneuvers and soft landings. It would be very time-consuming and expensive to create such complex components by metal casting, which is why SpaceX employs 3D printers. The corporation also has no difficulty building rockets and spaceships since it has no finance constraints. In August 2020, investors assessed the company's worth at $46 billion, and in 2021, the valuation was boosted to $75 billion. In addition to generating money by executing orders from NASA and other organizations, the firm draws investment through the sale of shares, and when engineers strive to save money on materials and production methods, SpaceX is always a winner. The speed with which the missiles are assembled is partly explained by Musk's strong ambition. SpaceX aims to take humans to Mars in 3 years, therefore it must conduct as many flights as possible while testing the performance and safety of these weapons. At the moment, It is busy testing a prototype spacecraft that is already capable of climbing 10 km and landing softly, and in the near future, the company wants to begin testing the Super Heavy rocket that is required to put the spacecraft in Earth orbit. So it turns out that she has to assemble the rockets one after the other using all of the perks and tricks listed previously. But first, let's take a closer look at SpaceX's most ambitious project, the interstellar spacecraft that Elon Musk is determined to fly from Earth to Mars one day. Tenaciously pursues its aim by developing a Starship spaceship capable of taking off soaring into space and landing safely on Earth, the Moon, or Mars. The 15th prototype of the rocket just completed a successful test flight and landing, but while the world awaits more testing, the spacecraft will be accessible in at least 4 variations. The Starship spacecraft is a fully reusable transportation system designed to transport crew and cargo to Earth orbit, the Moon, Mars, and beyond. The spacecraft uses the rocket Super Heavy to transport cargo and crew to low Earth orbit and is capable of taking off and landing independently on the Moon and Mars. The Lunar Lander Starship, developed to order by NASA, is a version of a manned spacecraft capable of transporting a crew from low Earth orbit to the Station Lunar Orbital Gateway, thus against the station and the lunar surface the Starship launcher, and a fuel tanker in orbit where it is planned to place a fuel depot for the necessary refueling where one flies the ultimate form of the Starship reusable spaceship. Along with the Super Heavy tillers, will have a height of roughly 120 meters, a diameter of 9 meters, and a launch weight of up to 5,000 tons. Designers want to increase the ship's load capacity to 150 tons. When compared to other SpaceX Heavy rocket starships at the maximum height launch mass and with double the thrust of its rivals, the ship is predicted to be able to embark up to 100 people. The rocket will cost $8 billion, with each launch costing $2 million. According to SpaceX engineers, the optimum material for manufacturing will be stainless steel 304 alloyed with chromes and nickel. The major reason for this is because stainless steel carbon fiber aluminum and other materials are much easier to manufacture a rocket body with than stainless steel carbon fiber aluminum and other materials. Carbon fiber and aluminum bodies will be considerably lighter than steel, but development will be delayed, and for those who want to see their designs realized as quickly as possible, more steel offers additional advantages. It is far less expensive than contemporary space materials and is more resistant to high temperatures. Aluminum can readily resist temperatures of 800 degrees Celsius, however carbon cannot. The latter begins to distort at a temperature of 150 degrees Celsius, whilst aluminum melts at 660 degrees. Let's have a look inside this fascinating steel carcass. The rocket's nose has a trip compartment. This area has been kept vacant for prototypes during testing, but a multipurpose cargo bay will be installed here for additional testing once the rocket begins to operate. This location will be used for direct delivery of people and freight to Mars travelers. The ship's interior will be separated into many levels, including a storage room, a crew space, a physical exercise area, a kitchen, a bathroom, and much more. The topmost level of the ship will serve as a deck for the crew, while 2 observation decks accessible by elevator are also available. There are 26 officers' circle allocated for the ship's personnel, and to the scientists the seats themselves can be folded into the floor. Hidden panels on the walls can be opened, and the room can be transformed into an observation deck. One level below are the entertainment rooms necessary because the flight to Mars will last 7 months. Passengers can even enjoy concerts. Here below are the first-class cabins grouped into 5 sections with 4 cabins. Each the premises themselves look like Japanese hotel rooms, although their prices are much higher because the cost of a ticket for Mars will be $200,000 and tickets for the first class will be $1 million. Each cabin at its own job. So on the next floor, there is a dining area and a bar with 900 flights of magnets incorporated into the tables. The next level has a dining area and a restroom, and immediately below that is a common lounge for those who can't afford $1 million. The common lounge has 3 levels, and this is where most passengers will sleep and spend the most of their time. Finally, there are baggage spaces at the very bottom of the rocket. Okay, even if a virtual tour of the Starship spacecraft is stunning, picture how majestic it appears in reality due to the work of SpaceX. Mars has grown so near to us that some are already considering what types of bags to bring on a voyage to the Red Planet. If you learned something new, please leave a remark, and we will see you soon.